It's me, Blippi. No, just kidding. It's me, the dragon of dragons. Hash Info himself. I have manifested a dragon with a crystal ball. If you look closely in the background, you can see me waving. Thumbs up. Even something for Google and YouTube and all the corporations out there too. Oh, a free one. You can rotate on that, you scumbags. How you doing? Hope you're all having a great day. Pretty soon corporations won't have a tight grasp over us. It'll be Mother Nature. I'd rather have her tight grasp over me any day than some greasy old dudes with a hidden agenda that they think is not a hidden agenda. They like, you know, uh, you know how like when an old man is in on something, but they're tells and they give it away like within seconds. Whoever didn't know all of a sudden knows because the old man knows, and he's like, wink, wink, like while everyone's looking. I call it the old man tell, and it's huge in poker, but it gets even bigger in the corporate world. And then you get people that think they're in on it, right? And what happens is, really the joke was on them the whole time. They were just in on it enough so that if they were to like rat, they would also be considered accomplice. That's how that works. But you don't get to know that part. How you doing? What's going on right here is we got a protein shake. It's 8 a.m. I have Cat. I am with Cat. He's awful. He's not in the house, so he can't hear me, so this doesn't affect his well-being. My cat sucks really bad. Horribly bad. Do I love him? Yes. Very much? No. A little bit. Today, only a very little bit. Everything under the sun. You swear he was a kitten? Today, you swear it was his first day on Earth. Full-blown, full-grown, and he can't figure out what's going on. So, of course I feel bad. I just don't know how bad I feel, because I don't know if he's faking it. I don't know if he's completely gone. I think he's completely gone. He was good to me growing up, so I will be good to him now, but just so we're clear, the rest of you weren't. You gotta push yourselves around in the wheelchair when you get old. You know what I'm saying? I used to date this guy. That's horrible. I used to know this guy. I'm tired. I used to know this guy, and very nice guy. Well, I wouldn't go that far. A super cool guy. A good man. Indeed, a good man. Well, I don't know about that either. Let's just move on. I knew there was a guy, okay? Older fellow. Had a super hot chick for a wife. I don't really know what was going on there, but then I kind of do. I'm just not going to say it because I feel bad for the whole situation itself. Sometimes you just got to do what you just got to do. So this guy, where was I going with? Oh wait, I've lost it completely. All I can think about is her boobs. Hang on. No, still her boobs. Yeah, story is gone for. Is it forever? Possibly. All I can picture is her boobs now. So, an old man story, right? No, it's not coming to me. Damn it, it was a good one too. I was gonna get into morals and stuff. It's gone. It's just her boobs everywhere. What else can we think of? That's it. I think the show's over. Is it Laura Secord or something? No, Victoria's Secret called. And I cannot get my eyes out of the gutter. That happened. Well, everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in. I am super tired. And that's not going to go away unless I catch up on some rest here, so. I don't even know what time the little bugger starts waking me up. About 3 in the morning, maybe 3:30. And I mean, I'm just like kind of sitting there anyway. I'm sitting propped up in a camping chair outside, but he just meows at me. Let's see what I can do here. Let's drink this protein shake. This is gonna help me, Scott. Apparently there's electrolytes in here I didn't know about. We'll see if this does the trick. It usually does. Anybody ever just not want to finish up their patio, but you got to? Well, today's the day. I wish I could have got some freaking decent rest. I was all gung-ho to do it yesterday, and wife wasn't. Then she was gung-ho to do it. I totally wasn't. Synergy, it's a thing, right? Being on the same page. Synergy. Most of you have no clue what synergy is. Have you ever been on a team? Did your team win a championship? I mean a real... We're not talking like a sport where your whole team is on the freaking... on a field. Like hockey, football, soccer. That's basically all the team sports that exist. Rugby and volleyball is also a team sport. That's about it. Lacrosse, we'll get lacrosse in there too. And that is it. Golf blows, baseball blows so bad you don't even know. Most boring game in the world. I don't care whose championship it is. I wouldn't sit through one inning of baseball ever again. I have TV in person, whatever. Playing baseball literally sucks. It's fun to hit a ball. It's fun to throw a ball. But when you don't get to do those things more than once per game, get that out of here. Like if your team sucks at batting, you might get 1 or 2 rotations the entire game. If you have a full roster and your team sucks at batting. So think about that. In soccer, at least, no matter how bad your team sucks, if you're good enough, you can put your foot on the ball. Football, there's so many different areas, but I'd be QB or I'd be a wide receiver. And I would either get all the touchdowns or I would get all of the touchdowns. And in hockey, guarantee I'd score a bunch of goals, can body check pop a couple heads right off the top, and then I don't know what else, but you can knock me down if you wanted to. But if I wanted to make it look like I was falling and then I'd have a chance to get up and let's see what's really going on. This is a different story after that. Once you hurt me, I'm going to pulverize you. Being raised not to be a puss turned out to be a good venture for me, considering where I live, right? Considering what I've been up against most of my life, which is racism. Most of the fights I've ever been in, the other guy didn't like the way I looked, and he didn't match my ethnicity, and he started it, and I would finish it every time. If I've ever grown up with anybody that says I didn't finish it, oh man, just meet me in the back lane and I will show you how quick I finish it. Anyone who knows my name knows specifically not to mess with the Hashman. Specifically, there's very few people that would even grin in my general direction if I was grumpy. You get a lot of people, like I said, that don't know my name, that may have run into me here and there. I don't like you. If you knew my name, then I may consider liking you, right? But to know my name, you got to be on a real level, eh? And most people, you're dingy, you're grungy. Your worth is literally in your bank account. My worth is inside of me. My conscience guides me, and it will always guide me, eh? Unlike most people in life, you're guided by your next dollar, your next venture. I'm guided by my next adventure. And I'd refuse to change that outlook. No matter how the world stacks up against me or you or everyone, I just will stop obeying. As soon as it looks like they're pressing too hard, then I press back way harder. So trust me when I say specifically, if you watch this show, you've tuned into the right place, because here the ball sweat on this show is dripping, right? Huge gonads on this show. You won't find anywhere else on the internet, obviously. But I drink a protein shake in the morning. I try to have one in the afternoon, but it doesn't usually work out that way. It might be a protein smoothie afternoony, but you never know. This one's coming through a little bit sour in a good way, but whoo, sour. Now check this out. They say there's sweet and savory, but I think there's a third S, sour. Think about it. Savory, sour, two totally. When savory is something earthy and like gravy, comforting. Sour makes your skin crawl, gives you goosebumps the size of Easter eggs. Sweet, comforting, sweet toothy, So there's a third. There's sweet, savory, and sour. And where I came across this was in my garden. my Z Skittles is a beautiful sour apple, limey, orangey grape flavor of cherryness in there, and it's a beauty. Yeah, I long for it. I wait for it patiently now, but the variations that I have of it this year are different than what I had the couple last years, and it's unfortunate that I couldn't hone in the exact same one. I'll have to go back to my stock and find, I guess it'd be 2020s, because that round is apparently the most epic round of beans I've put out, that I long for, that I don't know how much I had of it. It wasn't enough, that's for sure. And if there's more, I can't find it right now, which is a good thing. It's a good problem to have, but I'm not exactly sure there is more. I mean, there could be a bit, but where? Like, when will I get to it, So, these are the questions and the dilemmas I run into as of late. But, yeah, sweet, sour, and savory. Sweet, savory, and sour. Also have one, no joke, peaches. And oh man, it's just exactly like a peach cobbler. I'm drinking something that's similar as well. So, and it's not on the same day or in the same hour or nothing. It's like, I know this flavor, and then when I get to that, I'm like, damn, that's peaches. But there's a way to get the peaches that I kind of forgot about, and maybe didn't even realize was a thing. Like, I didn't realize how to get peaches. It's just off a variety. It's a thing, right? So I'm not getting to that. This is a thing. I could have just went on in great detail in 10 seconds and be like, oh, that's how? Screw that. F that, bro. Do your own work. Do your own research. If you have a decent enough, selection, it'll probably take you 10 years to figure that out if you're really, really smart. Get to it, because you want to taste peaches, I'm telling you. But in that uptake of knowledge that I accrued in the last, even this is in the last week really, it just dawned on me, maybe 3 weeks ago it came to me, and then obviously, of course, I forgot what's my name. But you come back to that thought as you taste it again weeks later, right? And yesterday or day before or 3 days ago, I tasted it again, and it dawned on me incredibly. I just started meditating and pondering in silence about 30 minutes, and I delved so deep into the mechanics of what went on, that I became the plant for 30 minutes and lived its life and tasted its sweet success inside from my mind. I was already tasting it. Wow. And then I sat and tasted it in my mind after the fact. OMG, bro. And it came to me, and I think right there I'm good regarding next steps and next ventures. I'm specifically and seriously going to only do this tech for a few rounds, almost entirely, and this is huge. It's there's things I'd like to say, but it's a huge tell on things, and I can't. due to the fact there's trolls. Otherwise, I love most 99% of you I love. There's just like 2-3 shitty growers out there I just do not want to help. Not to mention, I don't think you're smart enough to grasp it if I told it to you, even if it was like straight up. Probably because I am a good teacher, you would understand. But it probably you if you could, you'd ask again, and I definitely wouldn't tell you after you asked. Make sure you're not just growing. Make sure you're thinking and knowing, right? Like, don't just maybe I just let it happen. You should understand, because there'll come a time when if you don't understand, your skills or your lack of skills will shine or will dim. They won't shine in the slightest, and you'll look like a complete goof fool. Big example of this is growing outdoors, right? So many people claim they're this killer grower outside, right? And all you gotta do is get some soil and water it, right? That doesn't make you a killer grower. I don't care how tall it is, or that tall doesn't make it good. If you have killer genetics and you have killer green thumbs and you grow them extremely tall, then that's a feat. But just to say you can grow anything tall, and like, what's your yield? You getting 4 to 8 peas per plant at 15 feet, or are you just pulling a half pea? Because that's garbage. You know, some of mine fill an entire hefty bag in half a branch, half a plant. So it's not a matter of how good you are at growing tall plants or any of it. Is it a clone you bought from a dispo? You don't even know the true lineage. You don't even have a clue, right? You just go and grab clones. Doesn't make you a good grower. I'll explain why. When there's no dispos around, where are you going to get your plants from? So you've spent your whole life growing with other people's selections that you think are the best. Does that make any sense? You're literally just, it's like eating somebody else's crap for breakfast every day and saying that it's the best. Literally, that's what it's like saying. Millions of varieties out there, and you would want to jump right into somebody else's diaper 10 feet deep. Get out of here. The best growers in the world are breeders. And this is bar none. Bar none. They don't need anybody. They never will. In fact, you got to go to them, bud. The price of beans that I see right now, it's insane. You got people charging $10, $20 American per bean, and this is for like your regs. The good stuff is $4,000 for 10. Get out of here. So not only am I cheap, I'm very smart, and I would never pay that, right? But there are those people out there that will. You're doing a lot better than the people buying clones. I'll tell you that. If you buy beans, you're way better off. People that buy clones, you could be buying somebody else's diseases that they've had in their room for 10 cycles. So you're awesome, because a clone is an exact duplicate of the mother it was cut from, and if the mother is full of disease, you've just introduced that to your grow room and to all your new plants, especially if you're in an ebb and flow table. You know what happens? Most diseases are spread through runoff. Do you know what that means? When your plant pisses after it drinks, and whatever it doesn't drink up and runs off, goes into your table and floods the whole table, and everything becomes disease-ridden very quickly. This is how disease spreads in a minute in hydro. So many people, your claim to fame is you're a hydro grower? Well, I could easily just make you look a fool in 10 minutes on a live, or 5 seconds. It's dirt growers are the greatest growers that have ever lived, because they mimic nature. You can't mimic. A hydro table does not mimic nature, right? Yes, there are plants that grow in the swamps, but they are still in some sort of medium that is squishy, not rocks or clay. Can a plant grow in just clay and sand? Yes. it would be more susceptible to crotch rot. I like to call it crotch rot, like waterlogged swamp balls, you know. And a lot of problems can procure from being in swamp balls. Crotch rot is one of them. It's not an actual plant disease. It's a thing humans get when they're too soggy in their crotch, right? So think about this. If your plant is too soggy, right, continuously, the same outcome happens. We are plants, right? So, not to mention you're gonna have they call it overwatering. There is damage that's done. I forget the scientific phenomenon after you've overwatered, but it's a thing, a huge thing, and it happens very often in many grow rooms around the world. Uh, have I ever done it? A couple times outside. I didn't poke holes in a couple plant pots, and yeah, it waterlogged. They came back. It was a mango, so it was extremely resilient to that to that to the environment that I had allowed to exist. I didn't create that. Well, I technically did create that by not putting the holes in the bottom. So yes, that happened. Do I feel really dumb? Yes. Was it a mistake or an accident? Yes. 17, 24 of those things, and I missed one out of 37. Not worried about it. But I mean, and I was like, what's going on? Why is this one so heavy? And then a couple days later, we had a fucking monsoon. I was up to my knees in water, and I couldn't believe it, you know. But now there's never any water in my property, none. So it's quite interesting. I used to be up to my knees in water in my backyard. Now I can't even. My in bottom of my foot is dry all the time, every day. So leaps and bounds have been made over here. Hopefully you've done the same thing in 8 or 9 years, but I ensure this is a place for people to raise a family in the future without having a lot of stress on their hands. And I broke my back doing it too. I really did. I broke my back. Planted in hundreds and hundreds of plants every year, and sustain them every year. They grow babies. The mamas make babies. The papas and mamas make babies, and away she goes, and the cycle continues. I saw a beautiful picture of somewhere in Brazil. I took a screenshot. Dang, if I don't have it. I think I have it because this is the IG phone. So check this out. Let me see. This is a beautiful picture. We're going to talk about this for a second. Man, is this a beautiful picture. If I could just find it. I don't think it's going to happen. It for some reason it's on the other phone, which leads me to believe it wasn't on IG. I was just on a Google thread. We have temperatures. Sicily, Italy, 46 degrees Celsius. Andalusia, Spain, 44 degrees Celsius. California, USA, 49 degrees Celsius. Morocco, 40 degrees Celsius. So the big one was Cali there. And Sicily. I mean, and Spain as well. Morocco, you can bite down on 40, no problem. Yeah, no, I don't have that thing here. It's a shame because it's a. They planted over 1 million trees on this property and hundreds upon hundreds of rare and basically nearly extinct. No, let me say it again. Millions of trees, over 1 million trees were planted on a property, and hundreds of different species of plants have been planted every year, and many species of endangered and nearly or basically extinct animals are living in this man-made, like it was drought stricken. Like what I just read you, all those numbers are those are insane. Plants don't grow. Everything, the ground turns to dust. Brown earth, dried up red clay earth. Picture that. Well, these people turned a piece of Brazil into a green, lush, Butamus maximus, part of a rainforest, looking like beauty. And if they show a picture of it, before and after, and it's a 20-year project. They did this in 20 years, took 2 decades. Now, I'm thinking it must be really drought stricken there, just due to the fact that the first picture, it would scream, Africa, like the middle of the African desert type of thing, Namibia or something, Mumbai, or like really really arid, dry places. That's what the top picture looked like. The second picture looked like the Amazon rainforest, like in the peak of its prime, and a lot of birds and creatures, lizards, geckos, frogs, snakes, reptiles, alligators, koalas, everything you could imagine. All these endangered and nearly extinct species have been thriving in this man-made ecosystem, which isn't enclosed in a dome. I should be specific when I say it's, it's not like us. We're not trapped in a dome here. I can't believe, like, what can you do? Like, what's freaking out gonna do anyway? I don't know. There is a reason why they're not telling us, and it's so that they can just keep up this paradise for themselves, right? Like, they got you running around thinking you got to sniff your own ass every morning at 8 a.m. While literally they collect all the taxes, right? Sit on those thrones. And they know the truth, right? So the truth is that they're just keeping you in the dark so that they can continue to just live this life of luxury while you suffer at their, they profit off of you daily. It's not like a little bit. There's different types of people in this world, and when I hang out with people, I see people's I see how what you call a society came to be. It's because people are pushovers, right? You don't have a backbone. These greed-driven people, if everybody said, no, I quit and I'm not coming into work tomorrow, they would lose their businesses. Do you know what would happen then? The evil would move out and move to another country where they would have more stringent laws on people's, over people's, total control of people's lives is basically the next step. I think that's what's happening due to the fact that I guess some people are waking up and they're like, no, actually, no, dude, no. And you know what? If you would have done it said in the 80s that people would try to, be defiant, the 80s was a time when your parents told you your parents were the cops. And they weren't even cops. They were enforcers of the government's rules. And there was a lot of MK Ultra must have been extremely strong, and it screwed everybody in the cities because people in the country don't think like people in the cities, and this is a fact. People in the country, 9 out of 10, work for themselves. They don't turn the furnace on by clicking a switch the government gave them gas from. They chopped a cord of wood in an hour, and they went in and they fueled their house for a month off of a cord of wood they chopped in 1 hour. So what is your gas bill? 2, 3, 400? In the country, you can make $200, $300, $400 an hour if you chop wood. Do you get what I just said? Because it's very simple. You save a ton of money moving to the country. You save years off your life. You get extra life at a more richer state of being. There's hundreds of reasons why country life makes you more of a man or a woman than a city life where I hear it all the time. It doesn't matter if it's a guy or a girl. People want their luxuries, right? You have to have running water and power, right? Those things to me are not necessities unless I'm growing, right? The running water is such a plus, right? To not have to carry buckets of water from a creek. Come on. and that, which I've done before, for the record. And the electricity is free outdoors, so I mean, there's no complaints there. But it's so wicked just to flip a switch and can bang on a couple thousand watts in a second, right? It is nothing like seeing 6,000 watts of metal halides and HPS warm deluxes kick on all at once or one after the other. It's quite a sight. So but to the people that really feel convenience from a city, I have this to say to you. You lack drive, which is why you think a city is where you need to be. It's cushy, you know? You don't have to chop your firewood in the middle of winter when it's freezing cold -40 to heat your house. But what if the power goes out? Is the guy that has to chop the wood better off? Fuck yeah. What happens if the water stops running? Can you go to the nearest artesian well without getting stuck in a traffic jam lined up in past your hemorrhoids? So there are these things, just the simplest things. Heat and water. You won't have if you live in the city. And I'm not mocking people. These are facts that people. I'm gonna be doing another Canadian prepping episode this morning, and I'm gonna maybe later on today I'll go start a little, a safe little fire in my fire pit with a fire starter. Like, you know, start it with my bare hands in 10 seconds, and it's windy. But just to show you, like, this stuff is. I'll start it with my balls. You know. Can you do that? Can you do that? If you can't, don't you think you should learn how? Some of the things I'd like to start doing on the show are pretty cool. I want to do a MacGyver style water filtration system. I have no idea exactly how it's going to work. I can give you a bit of an idea. I'm going to use charcoal, which is literally firewood. So I'm going to use apple wood that has been charred. And then I will create that, and I will stick it in between some sort of apparatus I'm picturing that has a hole on the bottom, and you can pour stuff in through the top. I'll pour the scuzzy water in the top and have it trickle through all the tightly packed charcoal until it's clean at the bottom, and we'll filter it a few times. We'll check its parts per millions. I don't know if I can send a couple samples to University of Manitoba, but I would like to, and we could see like if we can clean up water, what's left in it after we've done this. This way I can have an idea of how to freshen water up, right? Is this tech worth it, right? So while I have the available resources, which I don't literally have them, they're in my city, I can contact the university or some student there and see if they can run a sample, or it should take like 10 seconds or a minute for them, and find out what's in the water, right? Left after I've, done my things to it, whether it's really, really coarse sand in one filter, and the second filter is charcoal, and the third filter is bum sweat. Who knows what's going to be, but we'll figure it out. Okay. But I want to do these kind of things. I want to show people that when the time comes, which it's going to, you don't think that it could happen. It's the question is, when is this going to happen? Okay. If you can surround yourself with the proper hypotheticals, your life will be much fucking easier. If you are really knowledgeable about and worldly, you should understand which 3 ways the world's going to turn in the next 5 or 10 years, period. And it's not good. So don't be in a city. Get out of the city within 5 years, guaranteed. Do you really understand what happens in the city? Like, have you seen have you seen the directive cities have gone in the last 3 or 4 years regarding shopping malls?
And the lines, just simply the lines that the caged fencing that they use for cattle, literally the same fencing used for cattle, is there to herd us and keep us in line, in full control. And these grocery store owners are billionaires who work tightly with the governments of the world, eh? And it's no surprise the way that they've formulated these plans. We'll leave it there. But you can see what is going to occur based off of, they run tests. You have to understand this. They don't know which way is the best way to have full control until they slightly control different areas of the population, country, or continent that you're in. Then they have a little idea. Well, this area here on the south side, they were really obedient. But the north side, they were not. So what do you think is going to happen next time? Do you think they're going to come down harder? You know? Did anyone see what happened in Toronto when the G8 summit went on and 4,500 people were surrounded downtown Toronto by cops in riot gear? My heart was broken on that day. This was years ago. My heart was broken on that day. To see 4,500 people, you know, peacefully protesting on the streets of Toronto, to be bullied by other people who live in the same city is atrocious, horrendous. It's scandalous, and it's scummy. And whoever allowed and ordered that needs to be jailed, because they are not for the people. We the people decide who is in government. They decide how to come down on us, right? We've put the wrong people in power to decide how they come down on us. We have the wrong people in power here in Canada. In fact, I can guarantee you that the people that are in power in Canada are being paid off by other continents, and they're giving away our land, our critical resources. They're giving away our biggest natural resources. They're selling them off to foreign countries right now. Very, very huge businesses right now are being sold off in Canada to foreign entities. Many politicians in Canada have money in the stocks, in crypto. It should be against the law for a politician to earn a living outside of being a politician, period. I'll give you one example. Here's an example. Nancy Pelosi, okay? Most of you are just daft. Nancy Pelosi. Do you know about 6-8 months ago when Taiwan really cut back, or a year ago when Taiwan cut back on building memory cards, video cards, all the cards that go in computer chips for cars, PCs, video cards for PCs, the new age, right? Anything new coming out that we need for driving to work and just turning on a computer to get to work. Never mind getting to work, you need a computer to have a job now. Well, they decided that it would be in their best interest to really cut the flow of electronics off in, I think it was 2020. So what that did is the demand, the price of everything doubled or tripled for electronics. Now what that did was create inflation throughout the entire world, because people need a car to go to work, you need a car to go get groceries, and you need a computer to have money to get a job. So if you wanted a job, you had to pay 10 times more for a video card and 2 or 3 times more for the rest of the PC. And this is a true statement. Back about 4 or 5 years ago, you could get a really nice PC for under $1,000. Now it's $2,300 plus tax. And I don't want any questions or anything. That's a cheap computer. You can go $10,000 now for a PC. That's just, the world is just junk. It's bunk. You got tennis players earning $1 billion. You got a hockey player that's a total goof. You know, he was in a racketeering scandal, and people look up to him. Get out of here. His wife should have went to jail for life for that. Like, basically everybody that's ever played Pro Line should get all their money back, because Gretzky's wife got caught with Paul Coffey rigging NHL hockey. They had goalies. You don't even know the story. They had goalies in their pocket. Do you know what a fucking goalie does? He decides the outcome of a game before the game starts. Period. But thanks for coming out, bud. So, we live in a world that's full of lies, hatred on a daily basis, because the people who are in control, they don't like you. If they did, they would pay you properly. They would give you more days off like they have. But they run you into the ground and make you do 3 or 4 people's jobs quietly. This just isn't in the tech world. Construction companies for years have been overworking employees. This is a sad, sad world we live in. Construction companies are no better than a tech company in any way. Now, if you're talking about a little 3-man crew, they could possibly all be paid fairly and treated the same for each member of the crew. That's a job. That's a life right there. Not a seriously, things get out of hand. The more plants you grow, the more shit can arise. The more people you hire, the more shit that's going to arise. And great, if you have a company with 50,000 happy employees that are all paid fairly and equally, regardless of their age, their sex, or their race, that's proper. But that doesn't happen. Name 2 companies that are existing like that in Canada. You fucking can't. But I'll tell you this. Once the old men die, which they're dying, you don't realize, the old men are dying, right? And the children of tomorrow's greasy old men, parents, don't have to live and treat the future gens in the same way. And the kids know. The kids know. I'll tell you right now, 99% of all the kids on earth know what their mums and dads are all about, period. Even no matter how hard they've always tried to hide what they are, maybe not at a young age, but by the time you grew up, you knew exactly. You knew when they were lying, you knew everything they did. They're just, like I said, it's like that tell from an old man winking at a table when it's like, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, we pay everybody fair. Wink, wink. They let out a greasy old goofy laugh. It's like 3 tells in like 4 words. Come on. So, we live in a world that's completely full of lies, right? And they always say that the truth will set you free, but it's literally your lies coming to light that will set you free. And that you've lied, that's not truth, right? So your lies, when they're found out, that's what sets you free. Your conscience eats away at you. The more you lie, the more your conscience, your pit of your stomach just turns. You probably live in just straight diarrhea days, right? And that's karma. That's karma. She's affecting you in ways that you don't understand because you're not a good person. If you're a good person, you'd realize, oh, that's karma getting you by. Like, I remember one time I lied to my mom when I had the diarrhea stuff. I didn't do that again, I tell you. It was squishy for a week. But you got to understand that, the bad men of this world, they get off on the lies, right? And it's not just the men. There are creepy-ass women out there, too, watching your creepy-ass shows. You got some weird-ass women raising weird-ass women. You got weird-ass men raising creepy-ass dudes, right? But I guess the only way to really get away from that is to step away from that, because birds of a feather learn to flock together, and if you've been raised by creepy, you pick up creepy vibes. You think it's okay. Your morals fade. The more you hang with shitty people, the less morals you carry with you close. And I don't like hanging around with a lot of people or anybody really. Like once in a while, like I'm not a antisocial. I'd rather meet new people that I get a good vibe from. than maybe continuing something like I already see through most people, right? Or if you're greed driven and you really are cocky about money, I don't like you, right? Like, you got to understand the type of person I am. If I wanted money, I could have a fortune. I could have a fortune, but money isn't going to make me happy. I already know this. We need a certain amount of money, and we have to make sure that we stay afloat. But money is the root of all evil, and I feel like, well, I've heard it from billionaires, not personally, but like you hear how people's lives are. You would expect a billionaire's life to be just hunky dory, but they have the same problems as poor people, and sometimes they're money issues. But these rich people are bickering about who should get more of the money. Poor people are bickering because they don't have enough money to go around to each person. It's a complete fuck show. So if you take the root of all evil, which made both sides, poor or evil, poor or super rich, ugly with each other, if you pull out money and throw it, what would it be like, right? So for those people, would people still be alive? Would people still be, like, you got all these questions, It's a pretty easy answer though. It's probably, right? Most definitely in most cases, and probably in other cases, right? So I feel like money will be one of the things that's changed in the next 5 or 10 years. Not saying we're getting some. I'm not. Of course, they're talking about some new social credit system that the China's running right now, and I got a story to tell you about that regarding that. It's quite interesting the way China has changed already. And I didn't come on here to talk about China, but without dissing China. I got a dude I was chatting with a couple weeks ago, told me, or a couple months ago, I don't really know when, said that in China they have to buy their heat and water off of their telephone. So, and I can't exactly remember how it was worded, but I'll give you the gist of it, okay? On Monday, if you didn't pay the $20 water bill, they shut your water off like Monday at 9 a.m. Like, if you didn't pay it by 8 a.m., at 9 a.m., you have no running water. So in Canada, it works a lot differently. But let me just tell you now what China has done. It's already in place now. So you have to pay a bill payment to your phone, like on your phone, which is connected to the government of China, and it has like your SIN number on your phone. Like, this is how fucked up shit is getting there. You put a bill payment on your phone, your phone is connected to the government of China, you pay $20, you get water for that day or for the week, right? And this person was saying that a lot of people sometimes can't afford the water right now. They're saying that the rates are very high. $20 a week wasn't the rate. In fact, I'm not sure what the rate is, but the person said that it is quite expensive. And natural gas, I don't know if you all know this, but the prices are skyrocketing in the UK because of rich people. We'll leave it there. It's way worse than that. But do you not know about the UK and Europe and what happened with the underground lines about a year ago? There was a catastrophe happened, and one side tried blaming the other side, but the other side found out, and it was even posted and written about in the New York Times, that it was actually their own people that did this. Like, I'm not going to really get into it. You can go, it's all right there. This is the biggest news agencies in the world actually telling the truth, because some of them don't like the way the world is headed, and we are having false flags every day. Do you know what a false flag is? It's when one country, okay, I'll name two fake countries here. or fake countries will just have you just drifting. Okay, America. This is gonna beat around the bush here. I'm gonna just use this as a hypothetical. Wink, wink. Wink, wink. Kidding, wink, wink. So USA, which is obviously never had anything to do with false flag incident. Them and we'll use another country out of the blue here. Europe. Oh, what? Actually, this actually happened. What do you mean? This actually happened? That actually happened a year ago, and they try to blame it on vodka people, the Mukba, the Russians. They try to blame it on them. At the New York Times or New York Post actually wrote about it because they actually have huge intel on things like this, and they say that it was actually them. So you can see what's happening here is people are saying one country has decimated somebody else's natural gas resources when really it was their own people. And this is what a false flag is. They try what a false flag does is it starts a war. You're basically declaring war on another country because you say that another country. I'll give you another example. Actually, let me look this up and give you a Google exact this happened. Okay, let me tell you one of the greatest false flag incidents that have ever happened. And this is a fact. Watch, I'm going to search it on Google. U.S. submarine false flag incident, 1940s, 50s, or 60s. Gulf of Tonkin. So this is it right here. I do believe the United States government falsely claimed. Okay, this is from Wikipedia. Cuban Missile Crisis. I don't like Wikipedia. Naval history. Philadelphia experiment. That's a good one, but we can't talk about that right now. What was the name of the incident involving a U.S. patrol boat that escalated American troops to Vietnam? Listen to this. I don't remember this name, though. The Gulf of Tonkin incident was an international confrontation that led to the United States engaging more directly in the Vietnam War. I wonder what the Vietnam War was actually. I think it's this U.S. Maddox. North Vietnam attacks the U.S. Maddox. From the point of view of the Maddox, the attack had been unprovoked. Oh, I got a fart. Oh, it was a silent squeaker with a pop at the end. And then all that after the pop. That was a good one. Though North Vietnam was under the impression that the Maddox had been involved in the raids. No. Oh my God, that reeks. Ever since last night at it's late. Man, I've actually got to walk away. Oh, it smells so bad like baby farts. Hey, baby poops. Oh, it's a squishy green poop baby farts. Oh my God. Oh, God. It's gone. But as I walked back over, I could clearly smell something that was like vegetable stew, beef stew gone bad. But then I think it might be stuck in my nasal passage. Might have to use a nebby in my nose. What happened to the babies from Vietnam War? Wow, is this a thing? Over 2,500 children were relocated without their consent. Well, weren't they babies? How is a baby allowed to give consent? Over 2,500 children were relocated without their consent and adopted out to families in the United States and its allies. The operation was controversial because there was questions about whether the evacuation was in the children's best interest and because not only the children were orphans. We're going to do a story on this. There's so much to talk about orphans. I'm pretty sure they're going to take our kids. After just reading this, World War III comes, they make all the men go to war. Nothing against women, but women, you don't stand a chance against the old men in their armies and their secret, ugh, their secret, their secret armies. They also have armies, and then they have secret armies you don't know about. They have military grade contractors, which are from the army that have higher, more powerful tech than anybody in the U.S. military. It's very sad, you know. Everyday people, you know, you'd think that a guy like G.I. Joe would actually, you know, he would go against. But G.I. Joe isn't what you think it is. Like, G.I. Joe is a TV show created so that you want to join the army, right? It's so you want to play with guns. I realize that now. I wish I grew up watching just Bob Vila, and that other dude that painted, and then all my cooking shows. And Martha, obviously, for sure, Martha. She was a gardener, a baker, a chef. I mean, the woman's a true boss. They were extremely scared of Martha, eh? Martha was a good woman that, you know, climbed a ladder too high. And yeah, greed bites everybody at some point on this shit earth. Everybody gets bit by greed. And if you don't, that makes you way better than me. I've been bit by greed a few times. Not lately, and I'm so fucking proud of that. I hate money. I really hate money. I also don't want anything. I've taken the word want out of my. I want to live in the forest. If that's a bad thing, fuck you, you know? U.S. submarine false. Oh, I put false flag, so that's why. Let's put false flag and take out. Maybe it was a battleship. Let me read this. Let me try and find this one specific. Something about Boston or something. I can't remember. Hang on here. I gotta delete all these. Incidents. It keeps bringing up the Gulf of Tonkin. Okay, Israel apologized for attacks, saying the SWA had been attacked in air. No. Truth about the Tonkin Naval History magazine. These new documents and tapes reveal the historians could not prove there was not a second attack on U.S. Navy ships in the Tonkin Gulf. Oh, there's the one. United States false flag empire. June 19, 2019. The trajectory of the American empire has relied so heavily on false flag attacks, one could describe it as a false flag empire. This is put out by, holy crap, by Australia. If you don't know about Australia, maybe you should learn about Australia. But they're a take no shit kind of country, and there's very few of them left, eh? The trajectory of the American empire has relied so heavily on false flag attacks, one could describe it as a false flag empire, states this Australian news thing. American presidents like to describe the United States as a force for freedom, but by any measure, America has, from its early days, been an imperial power, yes, subjugating and ruling other people's lands mainly through bloody conquest. Yes. No country has been to war more in the last 20 years than America. In that time, they've been at war with over 20 countries. Did you know that? Most people, you care more about tennis and baseball than you do this stuff. You're sad sacks. Based on past American behavior, everybody should be very skeptical of the American claim of. No, I'm not reading that. The timing is suspicious in the recent case of ships in the Persian Gulf. Why would the Iranians blow up ships when Japanese PM Shinzo was in Tehran, the first Japanese prime minister since the Islamic Revolution in 1979? In a visit aimed at reducing tensions between the U.S. and. Yeah, no, I'm not here to read about tensions and your other stuff. I'm not saying it was a pushed agenda there or nothing. I'm just saying I don't. USA false flag incidents. I used to type this in. It would list like hundreds of them. Operation Northwoods was a proposed false flag operation that originated within the U.S. Department of Defense of the United States government in 1962. The proposals called for CIA operatives to both, I call them Kaya, operatives to both stage and commit acts of terrorism against American military and civilian targets, blaming them on Cuban government. So this is messed up, but here is an unclassified, top secret, special handling, no foreign, it says. I'm going to increase the memorandum from the Secretary of Defense. Subject, justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. 1. The Joint Chiefs of Staff have considered the attached memorandum for the Chief of Operations Cuba Project, which responds to a request of that office for brief but precise description of pretexts which would provide justification for U.S. military intervention in Cuba. So they're deeply hard, fucking hard looking. Now, something I'm going to quickly talk about, they had the former U.S. CIA director on a YouTube video within the last couple of weeks, I don't know if this is a year old. I just saw it yesterday or 2 days ago. And she asks a question. Let me try and pull this video up in my mind here for a second. Oh, she asks if Kaya has ever been involved in messing with any other foreign elections around the world. And the guy laughs. He laughs. She asks it again. He says, well, probably. So here you can see how the world truly works. Elections are rigged. Fucking full on admit it to you. Like, there's no question. Elections are rigged. And the way they're done, now that I just thought about it, of course it's done by someone outside of our country, outside of the jurisdiction of prosecution, right? Do you know this, that Kaya was working projects in Montreal on mothers, putting them in comas in Montreal universities in Canada? It was a Kaya project. I 2 or 3 years ago called that university, and the dean or whoever the fucking goof was there, he was throwing around the name Kaya like I was supposed to be scared. I'm like, dude, I'm like, do you know who I am, bro? Do you have any idea? So we had that guy investigated right away. Passed that fucker's name off to my highest friends in Canada, maybe in the States too, just to see how dirty and slummy these people still are, right? They think that they think they can bully you with another entity's name, right? And this is all over Canada, everywhere in Canada. These entities exist to bully you, to stop you from telling the truth about them, right? It's a sad world we live in, period. But here's the most important thing for you to remember. Never give up. Never obey. Because when you obey, you have lost all control of your life. Lead a good life. You don't have to worry about nothing. Smile and wave at people. Don't shake your fist and tell them off all day, because you'll probably get thumped by a dude just like me. You'll tell the wrong dude off one day and you will get hammer timed. I don't care how many days you spent in Stony, you ain't got nothing on my feet, right? They call me Fancy Feet McGee for a reason, bud. You wouldn't want no part of these dick toes, you understand? And if I have to pull out my two cannons, you are dusted so fast you won't even know. But I'd rather use my feet on you. I'm the kind of guy that make sure people understand you don't want to fuck around, right? Lots of people in this world are kind of shallow and you don't really have a view on anything too specific, eh? And if you do, you don't shout it out because you're a coward, right? You don't say it like it is because you're scared of the ramifications from Kaya. That's how we got in these situations, you understand? Don't allow it to procure or persist any longer. I'll see you next time. Dragon info out.